Today on Nerd and Normal, age verification coming to your phone and computer sooner than you think.
Welcome to Nerd and Normal with Matthew and Gareth, opening your mind to the world of technology. So let's get started.
Matthew, welcome back. You've had a bit of a break.
A bit of a health situation going around, just the regular, COVID, flu, all that sort of stuff this time of year. But we're back.
Yes, we are. It sounds like MacArthur in World War II. We are back. I will be returning. Anyway, speaking of MacArthur, that reminds me of the United States of America. Now, from January the 1st, 2027, that's next year, and it's very close, there's a bill that's going to establish age verification requirements for software supporting the basic functions of a computer, mobile phone, or any other computing device. Now, this bill is going to require groups like Windows, iOS, etc., to verify the user's age. Now, these systems use methods like, I believe, you can tell me if I'm wrong, document scanning, facial recognition, biometric checks, and database lookups. Now, age verification, the whole idea, the law may sound straightforward. It's there to protect young people online, bullying and whatever, by making everyone prove their age. But in reality, these mandates force users to use or get involved with flawed systems. What do you reckon?
I think, so the whole idea for Australian situation was the social media ban was supposed to use age verification to keep kids safe, but unfortunately it's going a bit too far right now, with now every single device that you buy from next year, thanks to America and California, are going to ask you to verify your age, whether it be, like you said, documentation, facial scans, a whole range of different bits and pieces. It means your privacy could be massively affected by this, and you have no say anymore. The devices that you buy, you pay for as an adult, now going to check to verify you're old enough to actually get there and use the damn things.
So just stop. So how will it, if it's going to be built into the hardware, how will it check me?
So it's going to be using, like has been the case a while now, so certain software makers are going to be signing up right now, the manufacturers, especially the Microsofts, the Googles, the Apples, they're going to be signing up with these companies that specialize in age verification, and they're going to incorporate their software into these other devices, into the actual operating system of the device. So that way there's no longer a case of you buy your computer, you buy your phone, you buy your tablet, you buy your whatever, and it's just yours to use. When you first turn it on, it's going to load up, whether it be Microsoft's Windows or iOS from Apple or an Android device. It's going to load up the basic system. The first thing it's going to do is ask, give us proof of your age. Let's take a photo of you. Make sure that your face is that of an older person, or make sure that you give us your credit card details, your license details, so we can verify who you are with our huge database.
Okay. Would not the Optus and Medibank breaches show that the dangers of collecting and storing large amounts of information like that that I have to provide? Would that not, well, we've already had Optus and Medibank breaches. Isn't it likely to happen with everything?
Well, the problem you have is places like Microsoft, Apple and Google and Samsung, they're the manufacturers of the devices. They're going to be forced to implement these systems into their software. But they're not going to be the ones actually storing this. So they don't care. It's not their spot to be in charge of, we're making sure we don't have your details. They won't have your details. The problem is the companies that are doing the age verification, they will or possibly will save your details, which makes the actual manufacturers not important. The honeypots are these other software vendors, the ones making the age verification. They're going to be the targets for this. And it's already been the case where some of those actually had their databases leaked.
Well, surely, okay, I buy a new phone next year, 2027, and I load it up and it says, prove your age. All right? Okay, so I prove my age at great risk. I prove my age, and then I think, all right, now I want to download an app, whatever it is. Now, that app, does it not also need to have verification that you are who you are, or is the phone I've used sufficient? How does that work? The phone you've
used actually sufficient. It actually uses the phone's own system that's actually proved your age to allow you to download more apps and use more websites. And this is the problem. It's not the manufacturer of the phone that has these details saved to it. The phone has said, yes, this user, this owner is valid for their age. And that's as far as that goes. The manufacturer's job is done. It then goes off to the database that's actually done this age verification. They're the ones that know who you are and how old you actually are.
Okay, look, I'm not meaning to be critical when I say this, but I've looked at the research and it has shown the process of verification, age verification, is suspect with people like Black people, Asian people, Indigenous backgrounds who look younger than maybe they are. So isn't that discriminatory?
Hugely, but not just them. It's also those that have gone through gender reassignment. It's also some children who look older than they're supposed to, or some adults that are lucky and look younger than they're meant to. They all end up with the same situation.
That's not you and me.
No, definitely not. But they're always stuck with the same situation where you can't get there and easily prove without giving all your personal details, your license details, your credit card details. You have to give those all across to prove who you are and prove how old you actually are. So yeah, the idea might be all well and good in theory, but in practice, you can't trust software and AI to do this job for people. And at the end of the day, why do they need to? Why is it that governments seem to feel the need to verify our age to use our devices and our own software?
Yeah, it sounds like George Orwell, when he wrote the novel 1984, got it right. Big Brother will now really, genuinely be here. Everyone will have access to everything that's me.
And not just that, but it's not just your details, but you're controlled. You can't do certain apps, you can't do certain websites, you can't use certain devices. You've bought a computer, say, 10 years ago. You have until the middle of next year, with these laws that have been put in place in America, middle of next year, until you have to prove the computer you've had for 5, 10 years will then require you to prove your age to your computer at that stage as well.
So it's retrospective.
It is. They have 6 months to get implemented in all old devices. So your current phone that you have now has until the middle of next year, then it's going to have age verification forced on it as well.
Is there any way around it?
Unfortunately, due to America being the one actually instigating all this with California and the American actual Congress now doing this, it's like when European Union organised for all devices to be charged through USB-C. If the largest market in the world does this, unfortunately the world has to follow. So in our situation now, no, there is no alternative. Even Linux, an open source system that individuals actually work on writing, not businesses. Linux is done by individuals. It's also being forced to implement this age verification as well.
Does that mean the AI, various AIs, Claude, Gemini, blah, 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 that they're going to come across difficulties by not being able to answer certain questions or undertake certain tasks because they're worried about you may not be the right age?
Well, in theory, they've already got to implement that because there's already a requirement for a lot of these AI services to implement age verification. They haven't all done it properly yet. I've looked at Claude doing the age verification. It does a little bit when you start using it and you sign up for it. Grok definitely does because Grok has a more unrestrained way of doing things, and so it does definitely do age verification for that. Not to the extent that the apps and the devices are asking for now, but it will get there eventually. But at the end of the day, all the software, all the services, all the devices that you want to use that are technology-based are all going to be requiring you to prove how old you are. The question comes down to, if you buy a computer and you buy it for your child, are you the one that verifies the age, or the child gets their age verified? If you buy a phone and you're running a big business, your IT department buys all the phones and computers for all the staff. Whose age is it going to verify for all those devices? The person who sets them up, the IT person in the business, or the actual users using the device at the end of the day? This is all unknown, and this hasn't been playing with these age verification things.
You said if the largest market does it, the rest has to follow. When you take the rest of the world, China especially, and Russia, surely just because America does it doesn't mean they have to follow suit, surely.
In theory, they don't probably need to, but again, manufacturers aren't going to get there and set aside special devices, special software for those individual markets. They'd rather get there and just do one broad market and just do the whole world the same thing. Microsoft did many, many years ago actually make versions of Windows for China and India and South America, but that's long since passed now. These days they focus on the one version of Windows for everywhere, and it's going to be the same for this.
Matthew, there are some countries that value. There are some countries who are very secretive, and they are not democracies. Surely they're not. Well, no, I won't give a specific example. Surely a country like that is going to be reluctant to have everyone who uses a mobile phone or computer in its domain to have their information revealed for all and wonder if that person or that country was hacked. Surely they would put up a fight against it.
You raise a very good point there, Gareth. The issue isn't so much that they're going to fight against the Microsofts, the Apples, the US Congress laws of doing things. They have their own systems. So both China and North Korea, I'm going to name them, both those countries actually do have their own operating systems for computers, their own phone markets, their own manufacturers for phones. They do have their own services. But unfortunately, in the case of China, definitely, the version of I'm going to say Windows, not actually Windows, but the version of the system for computers for China already does track a lot of things that people use, so too with North Korea with their phones. So that's already the case of the government's already tracking things for those countries, but they don't use the systems that are being used by Microsoft or Apple or Google at all. They have their own systems already in place.
So the age verification really only applies to the democratic part of the world.
The Western world, yes. The ones that like our freedoms and our private lives being private were the ones affected by all this.
And
yes.
suddenly the freedoms disappear into the nether region.
Yes.
And won't I mean, the whole idea of age verification and you're a child, so therefore you can't access certain things. Doesn't that deny a young person the ability to, when they need help of some kind, to go on, because that's all they do. Their head's always buried in the mobile phone, to go on and seek help on their Instagram or their TikTok or WeChat or WhatsApp, whatever. But, oh no, you can't do that. You're young.
Not even get help. It's just talk to their friends and their mates. They can't do that easily. They can't get there and spill the beans about what their family's doing over the Christmas holidays to their friends, saying, hey, we're going off to here, and show some photos. They can't do that easily anymore either. While there are some websites they're now starting to use and more services that these people, the younger ones, are starting to move towards now, they still are stuck, unfortunately, with themselves being hogtied by the government, especially the Australian government, forcing this legislation, and now the European government as well. And now, not just are they being hogtied, but if this law gets through in America, like it has in California already, you're looking at the rest of us are going to have to prove ourselves, our ages, everything to be able to use our devices. How long before they say certain ages can't use Facebook? How good would that be for the teenagers? They can all get themselves kicked off Facebook. The other people can all take over Facebook, and the younger ones take over TikTok.
I think TikTok has the bigger young person market than Facebook these days. I think TikTok will be really upset. It's still owned by the Chinese, right?
The Australian version is, yes. I did research that recently. The Australian version is still owned by the Chinese, while the American one is owned by Americans now, yes.
So TikTok might not be affected, given that it's on a Chinese operating system.
Again, while a Chinese company does own TikTok, it's run as a worldwide business, and so they will not have to get there and deal with the Chinese marketplace being the one controlling them. They'll be working with the Western world.
Out of left field, what about the children in foster care without necessarily any legitimate documentation background? Won't it disadvantage? They won't be able to use it at all.
And this is the thing. It's not as that's the thing, but you look at, say, for those Aboriginal Australians who were part of the stolen generation, they don't have access to birth certificates or bits and pieces.
Exactly.
The problem is the governments over the world, and I've said this before, with Australia's government, they don't end up getting professionals in to talk about things. They listen to businesses. They listen to people who are going in there with their heads all in the clouds, thinking all these lovely things are going to happen. End of the day, it comes down to the real world shows reality is not as crystal clear as they believe it to be, but we're ignored.
So all of our personal data, all of it, everything will now be, if it goes through, at risk.
Not just that, but your identity, who you are. That's the issue. It comes down to when they get you to do these age verifications, they get you to show your face. See, they end up asking you to turn your head down, side to side, twist it, pull a face, do this sort of stuff. It's keeping track of all that. It knows every curve in your face, every wrinkle in your face, every hair on your body. Pretty much it knows, which means that can then be used, if that's stolen, can be used to AI generate a 3D version of your face to get used to create something else that you have no control of once again.
And AI, put me in front of the Colosseum in Rome. Well, it'll be so easy because they'll have all that information already stored on some data bank.
And it just takes a very smart computer programmer to get into all these databases to get everything they possibly can get. Because the problem is, the security companies only do things retrospectively. The businesses that have these huge databases aren't the ones in charge of their security. Security companies are. And so if a hacker manages to get past security companies, which happens all the time...
Yeah, Optus, Medibank...
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And this is that the end user is the one suffering through all this. Absolutely, it's mind-blowing how bad it's going to get. And they say, but we don't keep your database. No, Apple won't keep it. Microsoft won't keep it. But the actual company doing age verification are keeping the database for longer than they need to do. They need to keep it literally just for that one check, and that's it. But they don't. They keep it forever.
Big Brother is watching. Gee, thanks for the good news, Matthew.
Well, it's a great way to come back after having all the illnesses. I just come back.
You've been sick. Now you're going to make everyone sick.
That's what I'm going to
do.
do.
Very democratic of you.
It's the nerd way of doing things. Share the love, as you call it.
Yeah. Look, I'll talk to you again next week about a positive thing, perhaps, like the world without PCs and apples and oranges.
I believe you've used AI recently for something that's actually quite positive too.
Okay, let's not get carried away here. Just proving I do listen to you, and what I did, I got it to design a certificate for someone who has achieved some significant things, and it was very good, and I used Claude, but there still were too many steps to go through to end up with the final product. So I want it to say, I want you to do this, and it does that without all those steps in between. And the little proviso down below, if you pay another $7.99 or $99.99, we can make it even better. Oh, no, thank you.
Like I said, got to commercialize it all some way, and that's how they're doing it. But yeah, it's not great, it's not perfect, but AI is getting better.
You get well soon. Don't infect the family, and I'll talk to you again next week.
See you then, Gareth. Have a good weekend.